Well, actually, speaking of Story of America, you did mention that there's a story of the police officer who's now getting 5 years in prison. Daniel, can you explain a little bit more about what's happening with this situation?
So this was a case that, and this is actually one of those rare cases where cop shoots people that aren't really committing a crime, people that aren't committing a crime don't die, and cop that did it goes to jail. This is a very rare case that in the U.S. where a police officer goes to jail. So in this case, he had to shoot in a car full of teenagers 16 times, which harkens back to other cases that people are more familiar with. And I think the judge said somewhere that the only person who was putting forward violence was the officer. And I believe this one, he had a body camera. I should be more familiar with the story, but I believe this one had this looks like it had a body camera, and it showed that these kids were just, I think, driving away.
Yeah, well, and see, hold on. First and foremost, I need everyone to understand that this is an important issue because, number one, we have covered stories about this time and time again where we have police officers abusing their power, being corrupt, and, targeting after innocent individuals for no reason. And thankfully that we have these body cameras now to catch this activity, and also there's Good Samaritans who are actually capturing this stuff on Facebook.
I remember this case now. I remember this story. I remember this when this happened.
Okay.
This was basically, there was a house party that was happening, and people were partying. Teens were drinking alcohol, as teens do at parties.
Yeah.
And cops were called. They swarmed this officer. Now, okay, this is all coming back to me now. So this officer, what's his name? Marco Pirano. He basically decided he was going to terminate the entire situation. So everyone's, as it happened, cops come, teens flee. So as this one group of teens were fleeing in their car, in this alley, they're backing away from him. He just pulls out his gun and just starts shooting. All of them get injured in some fashion. And he's like, they were coming at me, And then you look at the...
Even though they were fleeing.
Even though they were fleeing, they were still coming at him. Because remember, legally, it used to be different. But legally now, if I'm a cop and I see a kid right now with his phone, and if all I have to do is say, I thought the phone was a gun, I have legal justification to shoot and kill. Okay. That's how police...
Yeah.
That's the standard that we currently have for police. So he's saying, probably with he's 11-year veteran, not used to maybe body cams in the situation, or maybe body cams be even looked at or taken seriously. He goes, they were coming at me, I feared for my life, things are terrifying, I had to just shoot every single child in that car.
Well, it also goes back to other stories where we see police officers shooting innocent people, running away, fleeing. Last I checked, if someone's running away, they're running away from you.
That's not a threat.
That is not a threat.
But they were 20 feet away, and they turned around their head a little bit, and I knew that if they were going to do that, if I was going to wait a second, they were going to teleport towards me and kill me.
Yeah, there's no possible way that can happen. But see, here's the thing. This is where we need police accountability, police reform, and have actually a civilian oversight over our police department. Look, there are good police officers, okay? It's just there's a system in which it stops good police officers from actually being part of it. Because here's what happens. There's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of lack of accountability, and there's a lot of brutality. And anyone who's like a good cop, right? They either get sucked into that system, they stay silent, or they leave because they just don't want to be part of it anymore. And you guys, you do have some cops that want to do good and help out their community, but with this system that is in place, with the lack of checks and balances over our police department, you won't get good people involved. You're going to get people who are going to be trigger happy and shoot at an innocent person. So what?
And then that goes to the training.
He has 5 years. He has 5 years now.
Yeah.
5 years in jail.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd like to see any civilian shoot into a car with a group of people in it and get 5 years. And that's the other part of this. Remember what I said earlier in the previous story?
Yeah.
That if you don't have money for a lawyer, you're in trouble. However, police unions will get you the team of the best lawyers that money can buy because they can afford it, because again, their budget's enormous. So when these guys go to trial, they're not going in saying, dang, I only got $20. I only got $2,000. I only got $20,000. They're like, I got a team that maybe collectively is worth $100,000 at my back for this crime I've committed. Again, I think that I would say if every single person that got arrested by police had a $100,000 defense team, there'd be a lot less people in jail.
I'm gonna say this right now. Thankfully that there was a body cam that caught all this activity, correct? Or was there somebody who was live streaming this?
Keep talking. I'll figure that out.
So essentially, what really stops or really brings this stuff to light is when this is captured by body cams, or there's somebody
It was
there.
dash cam footage.
It was dash cam footage.
Dash cam.
All right. See, here's the thing. We need to have more of this on to really hold our police officers accountable. Look, if the dash cam is on, you got the body cam is on, do your job. Don't do something that's gonna, hurt innocent people. Because guess what? We're gonna see it, and it's impossible for me that there's gonna be a jury out there to really be convinced. But sadly, there are examples of a jury being convinced where a cop shoots at a fleeing, suspect and is found not guilty. But I mean, when you see somebody running, they're like 30, 40, okay, how about this? 25, 30, 40 feet away from you. They're running away from you. They're running away from you. You don't need to pull out a gun to shoot them. You could go to non-lethal, or you could just run down and get them, or whatever. Look, I don't know police policies or everything like this, but it's stupid that we have this system in check. And finally, there's somebody that's suffering the price of their brutality, and hopefully he remains off the force for a very long time, and let this send a message to other police officers not to do this anymore.
He requested to be transferred to a prison of his choice, and I think that was allowed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think he's in Virginia somewhere.
Oh, so probably
he's probably gonna be fine.
He's probably gonna be okay, I guess. I don't know, but we're gonna follow through more.
I'm gonna make a random claim right here, and then we'll see in a few years, over 5 years. I don't know. Maybe I'll stay in less than 5. Who knows? Because sentences always drop out like that. I'm curious to know if he sues to get his record expunged at some point.
He'd probably do that or something like that. But I just want everyone to remember too another story that we covered last Saturday, where 15 individuals were exonerated from crimes that they didn't commit because of some corrupt police officers who were putting evidence on them, false evidence, giving them false charges, blackmailing them to give them money. So this is an example of some justice. And remember, those 15 men that got exonerated because those police officers were putting horrible evidence on them, framing them for stuff that they didn't do. They did that to an additional 400, 500 other individuals who are currently serving time right now or might be facing time. So if that upsets you, find out where your local aldermen or city officials stand on that, because like I said before in last episode, we have 400 or 500 potential innocent people in jail or probably going to jail for crimes that they did not commit. I don't think us as tax-paying citizens want to see that happen to an innocent person and have their whole life and their whole family's lives destroyed and ruined because of false charges and corrupt police officers who do this kind of stuff.
I want to add, I think this is always good to remember, whenever if you sue the police and you win, that money comes from the town in which it happened. So if you're a town that had a cop do something, and again, and someone that they do it to sues the cop, you're paying for it as taxpayers.
Yeah.
I think a good step, I don't know, I'm not a legislator, I'm not sure maybe how this would fit in, but it has a gut feeling. Why don't we just take that money out of police pensions?
Yeah.
I'm sure that, maybe they'd fight hard, we'd probably have to counteract it so that, because then they have an incentive to not, an increased incentive to hide evidence, which we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
We have to, actually I'm gonna amend that and say, the system's just flawed from the core.
we need a whole overhaul. We need to have a.
We need a European type system. Whatever they're doing there seems to work. The cops seem to be more friendly. They don't shoot people with almost ever. And they're trained for 4 years like a college. I think that if you're going to be a cop and you should know what the law is. I think that's a really important thing, to know how to de-escalate.
Yeah, that's
how to not just shoot people.
Just don't shoot on sight. It's stupid.
You're watching Hard Lens Media.